Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for Game 2 between Dignitas Academy and FlyQuest Academy. But, you know, Cubby, let's be honest here. Whenever we, like, look back and replay footage of past games, it's boring. So we have a new analyst joining us on the desk. Yeah, dude, you make me fall asleep with your stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you straight up. But it's okay. We have a new analyst that is going to join us. What's his name again, Cubby?
I believe it is Kungus. It's going to be hopping onto the desk. Yeah, no idea who this is. I haven't went through their Twitter to see what kind of takes they have, as usually that's, you know, all that matters and how I judge people. But we're going to have to see if we can get them in and see what they have for us with this replay review as... What?
What? Yeah. Hello? Is... production, this is our...
What's up? What's up, guys?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You are Kungus? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up? I'm Kungus. Great beard, by the way. I love it. Yeah, they told me to just come in and just talk about stuff. What's going on? What's going on, guys? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a bit confused, but I guess we're here to just get whatever is on your mind. And
hold up, Cubby.
I'm being told that we're gonna run some replays and talk about something called Academy. I don't know about much about Academy, but I know a lot about lifting, so I figured there's probably some overlap, right?
Are you in a gym?
Yeah. This is my home gym. I've been building it ever since 2020. Got a rock. It's pretty fun. You lift? You lift, bro?
Production, why is our analyst streaming from a gym?
I run. Does that count?
Can we get this guy in here? All right. I'm hearing that we have to go through the replays themselves.
All right.
So let's take a look at the first one. Now, I play League of Legends. I do. I'll admit it. I do enjoy it. I'm what is known as an engage aggressive support. I don't know what this cat is, but I like this AD carry. I like the look of him.
Okay, I'm with you with not liking the cat. The cat does go down. What do you think about this outplay coming out from Toma?
I mean, he's got better mechanics than my roommate. I can tell you that right now. I would actually trust this guy to carry me. And those W's, man, those snipes are sick. And then this one starts off looking good. I was excited for the beginning of it. But yeah, then the XU factor kind of came in. That XU guy, I think he's got a future.
Is this guy good?
I guess it is.
That guy, he's a pro, right? So he's a pro player.
One day.
Okay, cool, sick. But yeah, back to this Tomo guy. How come he wins, right? I mean, he had some pretty good gameplay.
Gonna have to watch the rest of the replay.
Oh. Okay. Well, I mean, it looks good. It looks good at the start. Rafa, you're the one that said you didn't do cardio, so I already respect you more. I don't understand what happens next here, because when I think of a Kennen, I think of like a team fight champion. What was that?
I mean, you tell me. You're the analyst that we're bringing on to the...
I'm just reading the script, man. I don't know what any of this means.
Oh, no. Well, Cubby, as our color caster here, maybe we can go back to your boring replay reviews.
You know, Kungus, you did say you know a lot about lifting. Does spacing matter when you lift?
Absolutely. You gotta think, especially the king of all lifts, aka the deadlift. You gotta make sure you have proper spacing on your feet. Make sure you're not too wide, not too narrow. Have your hips secured and your knees secured. And I can tell you, those are some wobbly knees if ever I've seen them in that team fight. I don't think that they did their proper pre-lift rituals. They didn't have a belt on. I didn't see any smelling salts. Definitely didn't have any pre-workout. So,
what?
Well, I mean, I think the pre-lift ritual from Dignitas was good. They spaced well. They had a nice, you know, pronged attack.
Okay.
Does any of that ring a bell, or are you just a dumbbell?
Well, I don't appreciate the implication, but I can't say. That's more of a compliment than you know.
Okay.
So honestly, I'm not quite sure what the question was. Can you repeat that?
All right. You know what? Let me ask you a question, Kungus. So we are going into Game 2, and based on your expertise.
Yeah.
What do you take away from game one that FlyQuest, being the team that did not win that game, need to take in mind going into this second game?
Cardio's for suckers, man. Play for the early game. Get aggressive. Get champions that you can actually power lift with, all right? I don't know what's going on here with all this Cubby nonsense, making faces at me, disagreeing with the Corky pick, but it didn't work out. And I got to say, results-based analysis, drop it.
You know, I think that's the best thing he said all day.
He's not wrong with the results-based analysis. Always can get you with that one.
All right. Well, I'm hearing that the bit's worn out. So at this point, I guess I sent it to something called Pick Ban. So good luck with that thing.
All right. Well,
thanks, Kungus.
Thanks for picking that up, Kungus, and hopefully we banned you from ever coming back again. We'll see. As we do have to dive back into the pick ban here for the second game. Of course, in Academy, we have best of twos. Sometimes that does lead to ties, but you know what? It's all about win or learn here in Academy. And we're going to have to see if FlyQuest can take some learnings from that last game, as they did, of course, drop, and diving into the second game. I don't know. I actually think that Kungus's idea about the Corky, I want to see if they can put a couple pieces around it to maybe execute that a little bit cleaner.
You know, when he did get to the part about, stop scaling and, play aggressive, I don't know if you can completely switch over to full-on aggressive, but, having more aggressive pieces in the composition that allows you to fight back against the priority that Dignitas had during the first 15 minutes of the game, which allowed them and netted them so many of those early dragons. That's not a bad approach for FlyQuest.
Yeah, and I think that, the fact that you're going for scaling, I mean, we've seen comps like this work around the world, and we've seen it be really difficult to break a Corky. But I think that they didn't take a lot of engage, and when they fell behind, they weren't able to set up any engages, right? I think that playing Kennen, it's a decent matchup into the Gwen, but playing that into Karma, and the way that Dignitas was able to kind of spread out and flank the side of FlyQuest, who were grouped, I thought it was a really, really nice game from Dig, honestly. And if I'm on the side of FlyQuest, I really would think about that Karma pick. I think that really broke what they wanted to do and enabled Dignitas to kind of play those flanks, play those angles, and really not eat the poke and find the engages, which was really key for them in their win.
The other thing, too, to note is that when we both looked at these teams from kind of a top to bottom piece fold, there's a lot of similarities, right? The mid jungle are fresh to this Academy and to the season. But I wonder if just the limited amount of experience that XU got on the main stage has really either helped put together Dignitas and really given them a great sense of identity in this first game, or if, FlyQuest are still trying to find their own bearings as well. I mean, obviously, when you talk to Tomo, there's a lot of things that they're trying to catch up the rookies on up, but, we don't want to sell Yuji and Spyrex short being the new bloods on this team. We know that they have the hands to really perform. It's just now trying to get them on the same page and getting them coordinated in a higher competitive level environment.
I just like how you're maybe those 2 single stage games on LCS help solve all of DIGA's problems, right? That's all we need.
I wasn't trying to imply that, but I mean the way that Dignitas coordinated that was, I know I technically had them ranked higher in power rankings, but it wasn't that much higher, right? So I was just been genuinely and pleasantly surprised by how well this team worked together on game one.
I think it was an interesting game plan from FlyQuest. I mean, when you have Kennen, Corky, and then Jin, Yumi, I think it's kind of tough for Yuji to actually have a lane to play towards. So it felt like he was just countering what XU wanted to do, which really put FlyQuest on the back the back foot from the start. I mean, even thinking back to that first invade that XU had level 2 into the blue side jungle, right? That was FlyQuest responding, and it felt like FlyQuest were the ones responding for the rest of the game bot. I think that really played into the win condition for what Dignitas had in that first one. And honestly, if I'm FlyQuest, I would just try and take the Karma away, get rid of the Karma. And if you're going to play a Corky comp, try and, prevent flankers, try and, not let a team spread out and have all that access to move speed to kind of do that and make sure that your poke's able to connect and kind of go from there. I also thought that skipping out on the first Herald and going for those kills top was really a tough decision from FlyQuest Academy. I would take the objective, and then you can move on to the kills from there, right? That might be some of the youthfulness showing.
Yeah, the kind of the ambition to just go for the kills, be bloodthirsty. I mean, I definitely can understand it in game 1. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up. We are just... Oh, okay. There we go.
No heads up needed. All right, here we are.
All right, well, Champion Select finally here. And now, FlyQuest, they are on the blue side this time around. And remember, Dignitas, their first pike priority, given the bans from last game, was that Karma, which then made FlyQuest answer with Ezreal and Jhin. I want to see if those champion priorities change now that they're on blue side.
Yeah, and I think, interestingly enough, FlyQuest still taking away that Victor and Twisted Fate, so paying a lot of respect to Darkwing's champion pool and still potentially setting up for that Corki. Of course, we do have the side swaps coming in. FlyQuest dropping that first game, I believe, gets side selection in the second. So at the moment, it feels like FlyQuest, with where the draft is heading, are going to have a pretty big choice to make in the Corki first or the Aphelios first. And I want to see if Dignitas maybe takes that away, as they did take away the Karma. And I think we might see a first pick Corki.
FlyQuest, your move. What is your desire?
I'm not endorsing first pick Corki. I'm just saying that I would not be surprised if we see it.
As long,
throwing out that clause, you know.
I'm definitely not against, the Corki again. The FlyQuest just need to be able to have a little oh ho 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 ho, and this is where the gauntlet gets thrown down. Remember, last time around, the junglers did not get locked in until the second round of the ban phase, but UG grabbing that Lee Sin early on, not only preventing XU from being able to pick it up for himself, but also just getting more of a playmaking jungler that allows him to really get aggressive.
I like this from the side of FlyQuest. I think, once again, like that last game, they've really struggled to kind of find those engages once they got behind. Lee Sin can always find those engages. That is something that, you always have the potential to do with some creativity. And, of course, UG is here for his solo queue performance and his mechanics. Good chance to show some of that off, as this is his first series in Academy. The flip side, Dignitas, they're going to respond. Looks like they're going to take the Jhin and the Xin Zhao for XU.
XU's going to be answering back.
Here comes Corki.
They know that Jarvan will not be going over to FlyQuest unless they do a pivot and give Lee Sin to one of the solo lanes. I know that...
Yeah, not seeing that too much anymore.
Yeah, well, there was a game. I think Rascal played a Lee Sin game last night. And, I'm not saying that Philip is going to bust out Lee Sin. Just keeping the possibilities open here.
Okay, no Corki being taken. I'm somewhat surprised in that, given the fact that FlyQuest opened up with 2 bans, as now Dignitas have a choice here whether to match the support, as it appears that Diamond going for a bit of a different approach. It was the Jhin Yuumi last game for the side of FlyQuest, but this time around wanting some more proactivity. Gonna take that Leona, which was his most played in the last split, and Darkwings is the one who takes the Corki for himself.
Well, now this is kind of almost just a flip of the composition so far. Now, Cubby, I want to get spicy with this as we head into the second round of bans. Is this going to be a situation where Dignitas just say, we're going to take your entire comp that you played in game 1, and we're going to beat you with it just to inflict mental damage?
I'd hope not. That'd be a pretty tough way to go out day 1, but I do want to see if Dignitas are able to take away some of those mid laners, and that's not going to be happening.
FlyQuest denying it straight up.
Yeah,
they're like, no. You can't just reverse Uno us.
I think we should also see a Cinder ban here from the side of Dignitas, as we have seen, especially in the LPL, a lot of the Syndras, specifically Xiaohu, do really well working with the jungler to get like 3-wave dives onto the Corki and really put Corki behind. Unironically, the one game they played it the best, they actually still lost to the Corki scaling. But, we're here for the effort coming out of Xiaohu, of course, being back in the mid lane over in that region. But will be the takeaway here, as FlyQuest, if they really want to avoid these Enchantress supports, I like the Leona matchup into Lulu, but if they're really scared, they could take that away. If not, I expect something like a Nautilus being banned here.
Just limiting down options. FlyQuest, what is the last option? And Rakan.
Okay.
Interesting. And we know that Leona traditionally has a pretty darn good matchup into the Rakan. However, Rakan still offers powerful pseudo-engage and being able to follow up on Corki. I mean, if you tuned in during the lock-in tournament this past week, watching Vulcan's Rakan paired up with Jejepyun's Corki,
yeah, it was pretty good.
Those dive engage were pretty damn impressive.
There's the Nautilus ITs, of course, decent matchup into the Leona. You can always get that point-and-click ultimate for the side of Dignitas, and Spyrax actually going to play the mirror matchup, as it is a good setup for Silas. You get Xin, Corki, and Nautilus ult. Those are 3 ultimates that feel really good for the Silas.
And Philip is going to get his Renekton, which was something that Dignitas denied during the game 1 of the second round of ban phases. If you look back at Philip's debut in Academy and some of his most picked champions, Wukong and Renekton were at the top of that list, getting him on a comfortable blind pick champion, as well as a little bit of ease of execution for that point-and-click stun to set up for Yuji and any other members of FlyQuest later on in the game. Should give FlyQuest a little bit more tools to play around with.
Eclipse is, they're playing around with some hovers. It looks like it's going to be the Gwen. We do have our eyes out for Akali today with that Chemtech build that we've been seeing. But honestly, with all the changes that have kind of went down, I still really like the Gwen matchup, like into Renekton. You can get early shove. And the way that Renekton is able to win is by providing gank assist if the jungler is able to get up there. So I think that we're going to see both junglers try and path towards that top side, and this game's going to have a very different flavor, as the Enchantresses, they're gone. They're off the table. We got Leona and Nautilus back again. So maybe you want to see if either of these teams can find some more sound engages. I really like Dignitas' Enchantress play around JJ in the last game, but I have to see if they can switch it up now with the engagers here.
You know, Kungus' wish came true. No more of as much of the scaling side and the poking back and forth. Everyone's going to get aggressive, especially when you have Nautilus and Leona up in the 2v2. There's plenty of opportunities for all-in potentials to come out. And then if you bring Zinzao and Lee Sin, obviously, to the party as well, oh man, you have now crowd control to guarantee a majority, if not all, of the damage burst from both of these junglers.
And I think that, for me, all eyes are really on where the junglers start. I think that pathing towards top is kind of a no-brainer for Yuji. But I think that actually has some opportunities to see whether or not he actually might want to play towards that bot side. You have Jhin Nautilus. You should have priority in that lane. And if you want to get up in the face of Yuji and maybe deny some of those early camps, I think that could be a sound option for the side of Dignitas in the early game. And any early advantage for them is still really good, because you have that Corki that's going to be scaling throughout the game. And also that Gwen on the top side, as I think Dignitas this time around have really opted for more of the scaling.
Well, we're on the Rift now, Cubby. Game 2, as we are returning to the best of 2 format for Academy. It was such a great adaptation as we got away from the spring 2021 Academy split into summer 2021. We pretty much quadrupled the amount of games in one split, which was great. And honestly,
yeah.
I think this is such a great format for Academy overall. More reps in, more time to develop, more time to really limit test and just give these players an environment that they can really cultivate their growth, as we now see Exio and Yuji potentially starting on the same side of the map.
We're just looking for the early wards. So Yuji won't be able to clean up that one. And it should be a sweeper here for the side of Axu, as I really liked. I really cannot emphasize enough how well I like Dignitas playing with this Karma, and I think Darkwings had a really nice look on the Silas. We were talking a lot about this mid jungle matchup, as these 4 players actually all have a collegiate background. Darkwings even playing for SUNY Stony Brook, all making their first Academy debuts, and the fact that we have a mirror matchup now, I think, is really fun in the mid lane. Gonna have to see if Spyrax can step up and have a similar impact that Darklings had in the last game on this Silas.
Spawn and JJ also getting up in personal with Diamond and Tomo. Everyone's trying to be on the aggressive side here, as Eclipse seems like so far he has control of the lane against Philip, level 1 here.
Yeah, another thing enough for Eclipse in this matchup actually did opt for the Conquer instead of the Lethal Tempo. Something that I'll be looking out for Eclipse is if Eclipse is able to actually buffer the Q with Philip's stun on the Renekton. If you're able to do that with the Conqueror, it's one of the ways that you can really win hard on this in this matchup in the top side, especially early, as we saw Eclipse zoning Renekton off that first wave.
I really like that. You know, JJ just keeping awareness of Spawn's last fourth bullet coming in, and then goes for the dredge line to ensure that Diamond gets a taste of that fourth bullet from Spawn, as Eclipse now hits level 2. I think have a huge wave pushing in.
I think, interestingly enough, for the second time, actually already up here, and Eclipse is in big trouble.
UG is over here. Ignite has already been popped out as well, but XU comes in. First blood technically goes over to XU. He might have salvaged the play here. He might be able to win out on Philip as well. He already flashed in forward. That should be a double. Oh, the Conqueror. Woo! But the Renekton, the crocodile power cannot be messed with.
So I'm not exactly sure what the game plan was there from Dignitas, as if it's a 3-wave dive, Eclipse crashed it in 2, and then if the plan was to crash it in 2 and rotate and help support and invade, well, Eclipse took the shortcut, and that was punished pretty hard. As UG, we teased in the early game, we expected UG to be going top, was indeed doing so, and a big trade on the map, but I think important for Philip. 2-0-0 to start off on this Renekton. Philip, of course, a returning member for FlyQuest Academy, but came in mid-split when FlyQuest was going among all those roster swaps and the Licorice trade. So, Philip, this is his first full split, and I really want to see what he can do this game, because starting off 2-0 in this matchup, I did say I liked it for Gwen as time goes on, but if Renekton can do this early, that's big trouble.
And remember what we talked about, Philip, one of his main comfort champions during the Summer Academy split for FlyQuest, Renekton and Wukong, giving him this early of a lead, especially when Eclipse had such a great lane and wave state pushing in the first 2 levels, is now going to give a huge lever for FlyQuest to pivot off of. I imagine Spyrex and UG are going to be paying a lot more attention towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, look at that Iron Spike, Whip, and TP now in the inventory of Philip. And this does give Axu a place to path. He was originally starting on the top side, pathing bot, now cleaning up his bot side jungle. But it seems to be that he's kind of flipped the map. Instead of going top to bot now, he's going bot to top. And that makes a lot of sense. In the sense that you're trying to at least mitigate or shut down Philip, but I think Philip is so big right now that even if XU comes up here, especially as long as he has the red buff, it's not going to matter. He can 1v2.
Yeah, Renekton is always one of those champions, among other things like Mordekaiser or Darius, that you have to be super careful, especially as a jungler, because you're coming up and trying to salvage this lane. And then if you don't play it out correctly, then you give another double kill, and then the lane is just doomed from here on out. So I imagine if XU does come up towards the top side of the map, it's going to be with a little bit more thought and coordination, maybe even bringing Dark Wings to the factor.
Yeah, and there is a control ward up there for Philip, so we'll be safe crashing this wave as UG farming up on the bot side. And we're going to have to see, of course, we do now have Dragon on the table. Gonna be one of those new Hextech Drakes, so we'll not get the soul for that this game, but curious to see Dignitas have a chance if XU wants to reset to try and build a slow push into taking the Dragon. Could be an option for them in this one.
Doesn't seem like UG wants to fight for the first Dragon. Diamond is going to use his priority to look for vision control in the river, making sure that there's no eyes for Dignitas in this side of the map. Philip hovering around Darkwings right now. Oh, is this a 3-pronged attack that we have coming up? Diamond does have flash if he wants to go for it. He's taking up the turret, goes for the flash shield to Daybreak. Philip is going to launch in as well, and it's an easy slice and dice. Diamond does not go down. Philip takes the last turret shot.
I really like this setup from FlyQuest. I think that it's important to set Corki behind in the early game, and using that priority in both the sides to get a win mid. They do lose quite a bit for that, as Tomo is not able to approach this wave. A plate should go over to spawn, and Eclipse was able to get a free crash off in the top side, but at least they are able to do something positive for this mid lane. With that said, they did bleed a lot of resources for that, as the Dragon goes over to Dignitas as well.
I think the only person that is still happy about it is Philip, because he gets another kill.
Yeah.
And he still is maintaining CS lead over Eclipse despite all of that. So the fact that he is still this massively ahead, I am so concerned for the top side of the map for Dignitas. But if you're a FlyQuest, it's a great way to bounce back.
You can see Darkwing set up yet again. Keep in mind, Spyrex has all this gank assist.
And Darkwing doesn't have flash from before either. Spyrex, ooh! JJ flashing forward, forcing Spyrex to answer with his own Summoner Spell as well. Spyrex has these rockets, but doesn't have flash anymore, and XU is waiting around this bush. Does Diamond know? They're gonna get sussed out. Remember, Diamond doesn't have flash either. Easy dredge line pull in, but XU, can he take down Diamond? It's super hard with that Aftershock passive. It procs and gives him all the resistances he needs to survive that 1v2.
You're not going to re-engage as Darkwings did TP back into mid off of base. I think importantly enough, though, Darkwings not able to get to that mirror mana yet, so still will have a couple mana issues in the waning phase that FlyQuest and Spyrax can look to punish, but I like this setup around the Corki. This is how you beat Corki. You have to get him behind his Eclipse.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Eclipse.
Uh-oh.
The needlework doing a lot
Phillip
of work
has flash.
onto Phillip, but Phillip, yeah, you got to be waiting out for it. And Eclipse, knowing that his flash timer is also off cooldown, has to back away despite almost getting the advantage over the Renekton.
Yeah, good sidestep on that last ultimate from Eclipse, and Eclipse now might be in trouble as...
They don't know.
Okay, he's able to sneak on out. All right, well, good. Rift Herald, though, that start is being spotted. Darkwing's actually basing late to get the package here, as he's going to force this, but Dignitas, they have numbers. Phillip?
They don't have teleport either, so Darkwings is going to have to haul. XU forcing the Crescent Guard to make sure that Yuji doesn't get on top of Dignitas here, but they find the stun, and Eclipse just staying a little too long afterwards. Maybe Dignitas wanted to go for that play, but they did not set him up for success.
No, that was some nice patience coming out of FlyQuest and Phillip. Just blast cones over once Eclipse gets split up from the team through that choke. That's an easy stun into the kill. So like the fact they're setting up around that. It is a 4v5 now, but Dignitas can, given the fact that they have this Corki package, actually still look like they want to contest.
I mean, package is pretty damn good. JJ, Hex flashing over the wall. Rift Herald still at 3.8k HP. Spyrex, watch for his flank on the other side. Diamond goes in with the Zenith Blade, locks down JJ. Darkwings with the package, splits them up, and that's already one member going down. Phillip trying to save it, but it's a shutdown that goes over to Dignitas. XU routes off another member, and the package play, despite having a numbers disadvantage, still goes over in favor of Dignitas.
We talked about how in the 4v5, they could still pull this one off, and Darkwings is able to do so perfectly. As not only did the package split up the 4 members there from FlyQuest, but JJ was able to land a dredge line onto Phillip, keep him on that package. The Renekton just melted in that fight. Has a Gore Drinker now after he was able to base, but didn't have that beforehand. And I think that FlyQuest just playing a little bit too fast for themselves as we get the second look. Look at how beautiful that package was. The dredge line on the Phillip. I mean, these guys are just barbecuing on the Rift thanks to Darkwings, and gonna make good use of that one as they win the fight down to members.
Now, thankfully for FlyQuest, Dignitas are not strong enough to take the Rift Herald afterwards, so this gives them an opportunity to still take this objective now that the package is not available to Darkwings. But FlyQuest are not taking it so hastily. Dignitas are rotating in members right now.
We're back again. We had to take the Rift Herald. There's no package this time, so I think FlyQuest are going to be able to secure this.
Wait, who got it? I can't tell who actually got it, but it looks like Dignitas are going to try to take this fight. Multiple knockups into the middle of this pit, but Dignitas are once again, they flip for it, and they come out on top.
It's in the pockets of Phillip, but oh boy, Dignitas ripped through yet another fight as this is a 3k gold lead for them. They have the scaling from the Corki and Gwen, and would look to be a rather sound early game from FlyQuest to just come falling apart across the Rift Herald as we get the second look. XU getting Phillip split, and everyone just stacks on top of each other, eating this Corki rockets, eating the E damage from Corki, which, keep in mind, is an armor shred. The 3-man depth charge from JJ just walked into the ultimates and walked into the bouncy house where they just get roasted and toasted yet again from Dignitas.
FlyQuest is really tunneled in onto the front-to-back fight. But as you called it out before, Darkwings just chilling on the sidelines. The Pelton away with the Gatling gun. And now, despite a huge advantage that Phillip had at the beginning of the game, 3 kills to his name at 1 point, 3-0. Now 4-2, and the rest of Dignitas are able to eclipse them with a 4,000 gold lead at 11 minutes.
Yeah, and I think Bindane, we're starting to see why it's so important to put Corki behind early, because when you're dashing into Silas and winning trades like that, that's usually not a good sign.
Dignitas taking this opportunity to secure the second dragon of the game. No contest from FlyQuest. What soul are we getting? Oh, Cloud Soul. Okay. Everyone's going to be fast boys on the Rift this time around, Cubby.
Try not to be bored with Cloud Soul, but you know, we'll leave that running joke to the LCK. As Curtain calls in the bot lane just to try and poke Diamond and Tomo off, and I think, oddly enough, or importantly enough for FlyQuest, it really seemed like once they got Philip that lead, it was about shifting that lead into mid. These last two Rift Herald fights, though, has blown that wide open. As Darkwings, we can see the gold toggle sitting on 2k more gold than Spyrax.
Jeez.
And like, as this Corki, I mean, it's so difficult now that he has flash up as well to actually get a setup off of mid. So I want to see if Yuji's able to go back to top. I feel like you have to keep on putting Gwen behind as well. She's able to get the Rift Maker plus components. That's when she starts to get out of control too. And with the Renekton, with Philip being 4-2, I feel like that is still a place that you can try and assert some power, try and get things rolling on the Rift, but it feels like all that's just really slowed down for FlyQuest here.
Yeah, it feels bad for Spyrax's Dredgeline connecting into Deadly Flourish.
Oh, they can win this.
But now FlyQuest are turning things around. JJ, the Aftershock passive, or it's just Glacial Augment, so he doesn't have as much tanky resistances as Diamond does, giving him the thumbs up saying, all right, we'll take that trade any single day.
Yeah, Tomo doing a good job of playing with range, and look at Tomo's items on that Essence Reaver, right? So the itemization advantage helping shine through as FlyQuest able to take that 2v2. Let's get, I mean, they are the rock of that team. I mean, both bot lanes are kind of the rock of their respective teams as, you know, they try and develop everyone else around them. But good to see Tomo and Diamond stepping up. This is one of the better bot lanes that we have in Academy, and nice to see them show that later in this game.
And considering Tomo and Diamond's performance on the FlyQuest summer win streak that they have.
Escapade, we'll call it. Yeah.
Dude. I mean, when you looked at their ability to debut in the LCS, taking over for the LCS squad, and they taken games off of a mix of teams from LCS, admittedly, but they got some big W's over there. And for Tomo and Diamond being one of the centerpieces of that squad, they're also the reason why their success in Academy bled over into their time. And now you have Yuji coming over to this bot's half of the map. No Dragon is going to be up for the next 2.5 minutes, but they really want to play off the fact that JJ and Spawn are still pushing up on this lane.
And we have XU actually wrapping around, will be spotted here, but both junglers see each other, and I think importantly enough for FlyQuest, Philip hasn't been getting some of the help for gank assist to try and kill the Gwen, but still making good use of that lead, taking that top outer turret for himself.
They still know that XU's here. They spotted him out on this river bush. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Philip has been getting the push advantage against Eclipse. They took down the first brick of the game. He's getting a huge push in and extending in and pushing in Eclipse further and further beyond. Unleashed teleports, though, are available now to everyone at this point in the game since we're past the 14-minute mark. So Philip can potentially join the other side of the map since he has the wave priority advantage.
Oh, I kind of like the freeze there from Eclipse, just, you know, starving out Philip, but we'll shove it back into him. While we do have some downtime, 120 away from this Cloud Dragon, also just to add in your point with the FlyQuest Academy stepping up to LCS, I think the big highlight win there for them was against C9, which of course is Diamond and Tomo's old org. And keep in mind, Diamond, he has won every split of Academy but one. That was spring of last year, but this guy has an insane record. If you look at that Wikipedia page, it is all gold. And he has made sure to remind me and everyone else of that going into the season, as here we go. This is the proactivity I want to see. Philip TPing down.
There's no turrets available either for Spawn or JJ to run away from. Eclipse is TP down alongside Darkwings. So Spyrax is also here to advance her into play. Remember, this is still a numbers advantage for the side of FlyQuest, but Tomo eats a ton of damage from Darkwings. Can they even out the odds here? Eclipse doing a lot of work, will give his life over for the greater cause. The Spyrax and Philip are still low on HP. Yuji is here, has Dragon's Rage available, tries to kick away XU, but he already knocks down Spyrax before he gets punted away. Yuji having the flash as well defensively, and Dignitas are going to be able to walk away.
Really like that proactive flash coming out from XU just to ensure that they're able to clean up the rest of that fight. As Rafa, you mentioned it, TPs were empowered, and guess what? We're making good use out of that early with the Fiesta in the bot lane. Dignitas, I should say, comes out on top yet again, and I The whole thing is off the back of Darkwings. This Corki damage is out of control, and he has a Beyondre's finish. But first, let's take a second look at this. So when Philip TPs, I mean, I like the proactivity, but if you're kind of behind on the Rift and the enemy team has 2 TPs up, if you don't have everyone here, you're going to be outnumbered. And that's exactly what ends up happening to the side of FlyQuest to start off the play. But because Yuji was still coming off of a reset, it ends up being a 4v4 for the rest of it. They already blew a lot of tools to get that first initial kill off as well, and ends up just being a rout for the side of Dignitas. As there's the preemptive flash from XU. Everyone has to flash away from the damage Darkwings is pumping out, as that's a Leandre's Corki, everyone.
You already mentioned it before, and combined with the package,
I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, if we thought...
It gets 4 health stackers.
I mean, we always talk about package being kind of like budget rumble equalizer, but in many ways, it doesn't feel like a budget, because it's pretty damn powerful, and when you pair it with the health burning of Leandre's, it's pretty good. However, I'm going to use the package just to start burning down this Rift Herald. It looks like it was timing out. Doesn't seem that FlyQuest are going to be able to answer. They're coming in pretty slowly.
No, a good map play from Dignitas. They had everyone here to contest as they are able to secure that. Eclipse going to reset early, pick up the wave that Spyrax was fixing. And when you don't have TPs up like this, it becomes a little bit easier to read the map. So appreciate the fact that Dignitas is making the right map read. Just sending 5 mid, getting that objective for free. Putting Eclipse back to make sure he catches the wave. And I think importantly enough too, Rafa, we missed it in that replay. After that bot 5v5, they did take the Dragon, as now Darkwings trying to fight the Croc. They haven't cut off.
Well, yeah, this is not a great spot for
We're going
Darkwings.
for a stroll.
Okay. All right. Do we cue the Yakety Sax theme music? Oh my god, wait, do they know? Oh, he can still Valkyrie over?
No.
Oh. Amazing! The greatest game from Darkwings!
You know what, Darkwings, you got to work on the emote game. I feel like, that's a good time in Academy. Just flash the thumbs up, flash the emote. I feel like that's...
Are they still chasing
We're all about developing here in Academy, right? We got to develop that part of our game as well. But yeah, well played by Darkwings, getting out of the 1v4 cleanly. And look what the trade is for Dignitas. Second Herald drop bot lane. 1 crash is done. Second crash should be able to get off as Dig continues to assert themselves in the series. And Rafa, what a surprise this has been from us, as, of course, preseason, we're going off of guesses. We're going off of feelings. We don't have any gameplay to really go off of. But now that we do, I don't think anyone had Dignitas looking this good at the start of Academy. But, man, they're putting together some good games.
And don't get me wrong. I'm definitely thrilled to have you on the Dignitas hype train alongside me.
I'm not on the hype train. I'm just recognizing the fact that they're playing 2 good games.
Okay, I appreciate that you're complimenting Dignitas is what I should be saying. Yeah. But, to bring us down to earth, with FlyQuest and Tomo Diamond, very strong bot lane, and they were probably one of the best Academy teams that we had going through that early part of summer, right? Mm-hmm. But now we have a lot of other Academy teams that are huge contenders this split. And so... if Dignitas take this lead and they win this series, I want to see how they perform against some of the bigger names that we have left to play.
And, I mean, this is something where it's early season, right? Like, everyone's only at a week or 2 weeks of practice. I think that catching up with Tomo, he was actually really honest about, like, where they're at the moment, right? Like, hey, we got new guys. I have a different role in, like, trying to help lead them.
Of course.
We're still working on it. But I think it's... The fun part about Academy is that, we're all about growth here. And the fact that Dignitas is showing this high of a point to grow from to start off the season, I think is definitely something to write home about. Because, like I said, I really don't think anyone had them looking this good with their first couple of games as the action continues.
And Diamond is going to get his Aftershock passive propped. Actually taking a lot of damage here. Solarflare barely dodging out on it. Has to flash away. Now the Curtain Call is going to look for one last bullet on the Diamond, but Spyrax making his appearance here. Forces Spawn to cancel the ulti.
I like the mechanics there from XU. Squeezed in the Core Drinker at the back half after he got everyone off. Not bad coming out of the Xin Zhao. Clips will finish off this bot inner turret where the Herald crashed into earlier. And Rafa, similar situation to last game. Approaching 22 minutes. 1 minute till Dragon. And it's soul point for Dignitas.
4,000 gold still ahead for Dignitas. But at 21 minutes of the game, it's nowhere near as marginally felt as it did 10 minutes ago. But But this soul point coming up, it's not necessarily the strongest soul that we have in the game here, Cubby, but still something that FlyQuest want to prevent Dignitas from having.
Yeah, unfortunately, not all souls are created equal, but, you know, we still support Cloud Soul. And Dignitas still looking for it as Darkwing's waiting in base to try and pick up the package, which he does now have. Also has that empowered TPs. I appreciate the toggle from our observers as all TPs are up besides Spyrax. And you can see those 2 deep red wards that Dignitas are actively pinging at the moment. So we could see Eclipse going there soon if they want to try and make a play off the tower.
Package also available for Darkwing. So FlyQuest, if they needed any more incentive to not approach this pit without caution, you know, just add on top of the fact that you can have really a Leandri's Torment empowered package available as well.
So they spotted that ward. FlyQuest knows it's behind them, but they weren't able to kill it. I want to see if Eclipse goes. Here we go. We're going to take the fight with the 3 here. I love this from Dig.
It's a deep ward, but look where Philip is. He tried to go for the right flank of his own, but he's not able to show up in time because the package already making great work, taking out 2 of the main damage dealers from FlyQuest. Tome and Spyrax already gone. The Dragon still not being contested yet because Dignitas are busy wiping the floor with FlyQuest.
That was such a good setup coming out from Dignitas, too. Look at how they played that one out. They saw Philip bot. They knew they had that TP ward. They say, all right, when they walk through the choke, that's when we're going to throw the TP and Corki package at them. Guess what? Dig gets a 3v5. They take out 2 members before the fight even starts. Another clean team fight for them as they're looking to put another clean game on the board. That's Cloud Soul, and this is the Baron going over to Dig as well.
I cannot help but just feel happy for Deos looking at this squad coming together and having such a great showing on day 1 of Academy. This is, if you're a coach, this is a proud moment to have. The game is still not over yet, but so far the stuff that we have seen from this squad is just absolutely impressive.
Look at this. So they walk through the choke, they cast the TP, they say, all right, it's a 3v5, right? Philip is not here yet. Yuji is not here yet. This is when we go. They kill off 2 immediately. It's as easy as that, right? Playing the fight on the package too, as Philip had to catch up with Yuji. But man, I mean, Dignitas really making this one look easy because their setups have been so good. When you get a favorable angle, a favorable fight like that, I mean, anyone can win that fight, right? And the fact that these guys are able to win it and win it hard, take the game from there, I really like what I'm seeing out of Dig early.
Yeah, 4,000, now 8,000. They pay, getting a 100% increase in their gold advantage right now, Cubby. And they're making great use of that, not only picking up 3rd items for a majority of themselves, but also they're ready to go golden for the most part as well. 4 stopwatches across the board. Clips, XU, Darkwings, and JJ. Spawn, only person that's not going to be able to hit the moves in the spotlight, but it's okay.
I like the control words, too. That's some good stuff coming out of Dig. I don't like the double control words in that brush, but I like the double control words in the inventory. We'll put it that way.
It's all about sending a message at this point.
Early season, we're still getting the comms cleaned up, you know?
Making use of this Baron buff right now, pushing through the tier 2 turret. There will be no contest, no defense whatsoever from FlyQuest. They know that they have bigger structures that they are much more important on defending. It's going to be this base. Inhibitor towers now at threat by Dignitas. Ooh. Curtain call opening up, looking for some poke damage. Yuji on the right side of the flank. If he could find maybe a miracle insect, but he still has to chew through a bunch of stopwatches to make that possible.
Couple notes here. We do have evolved tier for Tomo and a crown. Tomo is at 3 items, but oh man, he's really having a tough go of it against these Corki rockets, which level 15 on Darkwings. And the fact that he has the Andres and the Shadow Flame, these are just shredding FlyQuest.
Keep note here for FlyQuest as well. Tomo does not have Flash available for the next couple minutes as well. Oh my goodness, Spawn is going to be enough. Deadly Flourish. Oh, it does not even need it. Just the burn damage from Red Buff is enough to take down FlyQuest's 80 carry. It's 4-5. The rest of Dignitas are taking this slowly. Desperation now comes out. You got to do something. Got to try and defend this game from going down. But when you're this far ahead as Dignitas, 12,000 gold in their stead, it is damn near impossible to take it around. As FlyQuest, they get ace, and that is going to be a clean 2-0 sweep from Dignitas Academy on day 1.
Can't say enough good things about Dig coming out of this series, Rafa. The community were, you know, kind of wary of what the results would be like in the spring, and of course in Academy. We're always looking to scale, but the fact that Dignitas are starting off at this level this early in the season, love to see that from them. And especially, you know, not only some of the strats, but some of the setups that they had to execute across the map, the responses to the TPs, the setup around that last dragon. That's really clean stuff that I would expect out of high-level teams. The fact that they have a lead, they're playing off that with a scaling comp does help, but the fact that they also are able to execute it, big props to Dig on that 2-0.
Yeah, just really great stuff across the board. It's not just even individual moments that we expected from some of the, you know, the really hot new rookies like XU and Darkwings getting so much, you know, time from Cloud9 Amateur as well as AoE during this past year, but the coordination across the board was something we were not expecting from them, at least this early on. But really, the team has come together for a great day one showing. There's still plenty of mountains to climb for this roster, plenty of teams that they have to still take on. But when we come back from this break, we will be having an interview with one of those Dignitas members and Kangas.